Welcome back into the Invest Well show on these segments talking about the idea of selling your business. We're going to talk this segment on the idea of life after the sale. There is life after your sale, I promise. I know sometimes when you build or you're in a place where you're getting ready to sell your company, you're like, gosh, what am I going to do now? Is there a life after the sale? We're not just talking about being able to live life, but we're also talking, guys, about investments. We got Nick Geraci that's joining us again, private tax director, Steve Snow, we call him Snowman around the office. Guys, let's talk about that because, this is something oftentimes, and Nick, Steve, you've seen a lot of in the trenches as you're working with families on the asset side that they've come in afterwards. This is a brand new experience for them because they're used to getting an income from their business and now they sell their company. It's almost like winning the lottery. So, when we see that happen, what's one of the things that we want to be looking at when we're talking to them about life after sale?
And I think, we've had many of these conversations over the last few years. We think it's important to slow down. A business owner's mindset is I want to invest, I want to build, I want to get into the next thing. Yeah. But, the season right after you sell, it's very important to slow down and actually figure out what you want to do, what your life's going to look like. Yeah. Do you want to get involved into another business? What does your timeline look like? I feel like some of those factors really help you divvy down, what the next step actually looks like. Well,
Steve, that's a great point because, a lot of times when people are in a place, Nick, where they're selling a company, they're selling a business either for one of two reasons. Because they're in a place where the value that they're getting potentially for the sale is just amazing and they want to receive that, revenue and profit, so to speak, from what they've built. Or they're in a place where like, I just can't do this anymore. Like I'm tired. I've been doing this for a long time, all these years. It's been great and I'm blessed to have it, but like I got to get out. And so those tendencies can sometimes, as Steve mentioned, follow them into, we'll call it 20, 30, 40 years of retirement, unemployment, otherwise known as retirement, right? Yeah. So they're over there and they're like, gosh, I got to get out of this. And then like, they get this big lump sum of money and they're like, wow, I'm going to go buy this business. I'm going to go invest in that business. I'm going to go this. Say, whoa, slow down. Let's take a minute. Let's talk about what do we really want to do in life. We're not going to sit around and sing kumbaya, but we're going to create a plan.
Right. So your priorities change. You're going from an operator of a business, a very successful one, likely if you're selling it for a high dollar amount. You're transitioning from being in the day-to-day, making fast decisions to more of an investor role, where priorities shift to tax efficiency, income diversification, and legacy. These three things take time to develop like your company, but it's a different track. It's a different road to do so. So it's important to make sure you're taking the requisite time to make those decisions in an efficient way, but not jumping right into the first thing that comes across your desk once that check clears.
Well, and Steve, that's one of the things that our team talks about at Wall Private Wealth is the idea of, I think that's one of the reasons many families that we work with at that company and those companies are CEOs. They're retiring CEOs or selling companies because we talk about the idea of the asset as though you are the CEO of a portfolio. You sell a company for $50 million. Now all of a sudden you have this money. Well, you're still the CEO of a $50 million company. It's just your business ventures are different, right?
Yeah, not only that, I think a lot of the time why we get referred to so many people selling their company is oftentimes, now we have a few publicly traded CEOs, publicly traded companies, but oftentimes they built their money off market. And a lot of our strategy is off the market, whether it be private real estate deals from multifamily to storage to marinas to private equity, owning private companies. They see the value in that and they see the opportunity in that. And they're not just placing their nest egg into just a publicly traded portfolio that's going to go up and down with what's going on in the marketplace.
Yeah, Nick, I think that's so important because, obviously we offer some of those things through our fiduciary company, U.S. Private Wealth, but we're in a place where when we offer those types of strategies, if it's appropriate, when we're building a plan, that's really what we're doing. We're building a plan, right. And it kind of simplifies the life for the CEO or the person that we're working with because now they don't have to go out and take all the time to find these private opportunities. We've done that over the years and years and years of helping successfully help families, and it just simplifies their life, but they still get to be involved in a very integral way.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen with the clients that we have that this particular tract is appetizing to them because they're investing in things that they're familiar with. Real estate, demographic investing, looking where people are going to, as opposed to sometimes not, investing into a global marketplace where a tweet could crash the market or a simple news story, results in a 10, 15, 20% drop overnight. So we want consistency, we want fluidity, and we want to be able to be in a place where we know what's going on with our investments.
Yeah, it's so important. Listen, as you're watching this, you've sold your company, you're in a place where you got questions about what you're doing. Is there going to be life after the sale? What should I do with it? By the way, one last thing, guys, before we jump out and kind of do the exit here, this can be one of the scary parts because a lot of business owners, you kind of know what you know, and then you know what you don't know. And so they're in a place where, we see a lot of people that are like, hey, I know how to make money in this type of a company because I built it and I did it. But there's two things that can happen. There can either lead to arrogance that causes you to think you can be successful in every aspect of every company, of every business, which is not a good way to go. Or it can create a lot of fear because you're like, okay, I know this, but I don't know that. And I've talked to other people that have had bad experiences in the market or all these other things. And so it creates a lot of fear or concern. So as you're selling your business and you're looking at what it looks like to have a life after your exit, this is really important to really sit down and create a comprehensive plan that is developed and designed around not just you, your current needs, the exit, sale needs, tax needs, your family needs, your income needs, your vacation needs, whatever it may be, whatever you're trying to achieve, whatever you're trying to do, really the idea, this might be the first time, by the way, for you in your life where you've sat down and really thought about what do I want to do with my life now that I've sold this company. And it's okay to start out not knowing all of the answers. You got questions about how to kind of develop this conversation. You want to take just a 10, 15 minute, have a conversation, Zoom call or chat with the teams at Wall Private Wealth or others. Click the links below. Our team will chat with you, come alongside and really just help you decide, does it make sense to continue further in conversation or should you do different things along the way? But either way, you're going to get a lot of great information by taking some time to invest below. We'll see you there. See you soon and exit well.